Hey there, today I'm going to show you how to draw Nate from Yokai Watch. So we're going to start in the middle of the face with the eyes. So we're going to start with two ovals, one on the left and one on the right. So starting on the top, we're going to curve down to the bottom and then back up to the top. On the top left, we're going to draw a little highlight circle. So up here, I'm just going to draw a little tiny circle and then color everything else in black. I'm going to go over to the right side and draw the exact same thing. So I want to make sure I leave enough space in between the eyes. So starting up here, curve down to the bottom, then back up to the top. And again, drawing that highlight circle at the top, and then coloring everything else in black. From here, let's draw in the eyelids. So around the top of the eye, we're just going to draw a curve. So coming out from the side, and curve up, and just tuck that in to the top of that pupil. On the right, we'll do the same thing. So curving up and then around the eye. We're just going to leave that open at the bottom there. From here, let's draw on the nose. So in between the eyes, we're going to leave a little bit of space underneath and just draw a little hook. Just a little hook like that. And then for the top of the mouth, I'm going to go from the center of this eye to the center of this eye with a curve. So just below the nose, I'm just going to draw a curve. And I'm going to draw a little bit crooked. And then from here, I'm going to connect those 2 points with a curve coming down, almost like a half circle, and then back up. Let's draw on the little curve for the tongue. So right here, I'm just going to draw a curve like this. Now for me, I like drawing the inner parts of the face first before I draw on the head shape, just because it gives me enough space to figure out where the temple and the side of the jaws would go while I have the center of the face in. Okay, so from here, on the other side of the eyes, I'm just going to draw a point. This will be my starting point from the temples. I'm going to work my way down towards the jaw with a curve. So from here, I'm curved down to about the same level as that tongue. And then just kind of bring it in. So it's curving inwards on both sides. Curving in like that. Now from here, I'm going to connect those 2 points with the chin. So there's a slight point at the chin here, just below the mouth. So I'm just going to slowly work my way just below the mouth like that. And it's a rounded point. So it's not an actual hard point. So it curves up like this. From here, let's go ahead and draw in the hair bangs. So from this point, I'm going to curve up and in. From here, I'm going to do an overlap and curve up towards the center of the head. And then from here, I'm going to curve a bang coming down towards the eye. So curving down, and then I'm going to curve this back up. So it's tapered, and then I'm going to reverse this. So it's going to curve around the eye, and then back up. And then from here, I'm going to take this point and just drop down a little bit, so there's an overlap, and curve right into the side of that temple. Let's draw in some eyebrows. So up here, I'm just going to bring an eyebrow down, so curving just above that eye. And on this side, I'll do the same thing, just in the opposite direction. Okay, now let's get into the hair. So I'm going to give him a little bit of sideburns. So right just below this point here, I'm going to come down here and curve all the way to the top of where his head would be. So curving up, and I'm going to start to bring this in slightly. From here, I'm going to draw in the first spike. So doing an overlap, so coming over to the left, I'm going to draw a big curve going up to the top. And there's 3 spikes on the top of his head. So here, I'm just going to curve down and towards the right. I want to make sure I leave enough space before I get to the edge of the head for the 3 spikes. So I'm going to come up a little bit, draw a slightly smaller spike, and then curve down. And then I'm going to do one last little overlap to a smaller spike. And then here, I'm just going to bring this down just a bit to line up with the side of his head. And then from here, I'm going to curve in the opposite direction and right into the side of the head. Now let's draw in some ears. So just up here, I'm just going to tuck in a curve, just sticks out like this on the left, and then on the right, just into the side of the head. For a little ear detail, I'm just going to draw a curve, little hook like this, and then just going to pull a little line out. Let's do the same thing on the right, so curving out, then right here, just curve another line out. Okay, so we got the face. Let's get into the rest of the body. So the neck is quite thin. It's going to drop 2 lines down either side of the chin. I'm going to draw a curve going out to the left and one out to the right. I'm going to connect those 2 points with a curve for the collar of the shirt. Now that we have that, we can actually put the hair just tucked in behind the head here. So up here, I'm going to curve out, bring that back in slightly, do a smaller curve, and then just pull that right in underneath that chin. Let's do the same on the right side. So we're just going to curve out, in, and a slightly longer one, and then tuck that in under the head. Okay, so the head's complete. Let's finish off the body. So the shoulders, I want the shoulders not to be wider than the width of his head here. So I'm going to start at these points of the neck and curving out. So they're kind of sloped this way. And then I'm just going to shape out the shoulders here. So from this point, I'm just going to round out a curve for the left and right side. Now from this point, now that I have the shoulders in place, now I know the width of the body is going to have to sit inside these two lines. So on the left side and on the right, I'm going to come down to the waist, which would be right about here. So here on the left side, I'm just going to curve out. On the right, I'll do the same thing. So curving out. From here, I'm going to round these tips of the hip, with the shirt tucking around the waist. Now from here, the center of the shirt is tucked in underneath the belt. So from here, I'm just going to curve up. Then right here, I'm going to do an overlap. I'm just going to do a curve like this for the shirt. And then here, I'm just going to come across, overlap, and pull that down to that hip point there. Before I go any further, I'm just going to draw in the lines for the shirt. So the collar, I'm just going to outline the collar. And then I'm going to draw the star in the center here. So starting from the middle, top, put a little point, and draw two angle lines coming down on either side, going straight out. And then I'm going to pull these lines down at an angle. And then from here, I want to imagine this line coming across this way. So across to that point, and across to this point here. Now this point, I just want to imagine going towards that point. And then this one going towards that point there. And that'll complete my star. Let's draw in the belt buckle. So we're going to draw in the buckle part first. So from this point, I'm going to draw a straight line coming down. I'm going to round this going horizontal. Okay, so it's like an L. From here, I'm just going to curl the end and then come backwards. Coming back. Now before I go up, I'm going to draw a little oval right here for the clip. I'm going to go up behind that oval, up above it, going straight across, and then curling that underneath the shirt. From here, I'm going to take this point and curve up towards the right, curve up towards the left, and draw a little circle here just for a belt hole. Okay, now from here, let's get into the arms. So for the arms, I'm going to round out the cuff of the sleeve. So curving, and then from here, I'm going to go straight in behind the body. On this side, on the right, I'll do the same thing. So curving, and I'll go right in behind the body. Let's do that little trim for the sleeve on both sides. Now for this arm, I'm just going to have both arms sort of drop down. They're both being fists. I'm going to put the watch on this side here. So start with the arm on the left. So from here, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to curve slightly towards the wrist area. Under here, I'm going to curve in the opposite direction. Okay, so it's sort of bowing out this way. Starting with the thumb, I'm going to draw a curve like this. At the end here, I'm just going to draw a little bracket, a little curve. And then up here, let's fold in some fingers. So I'm doing a curve around that bracket. I'm going to do an overlap. So I'm going to do an overlap 3 times. So 1, 2, and then the final one, I'm going to pull right into that wrist line there. Okay, so that's a fist. Let's get into this side. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to actually pause right at the wrist line so I could draw on the watch. Starting up here, I'm going to curve. Inside, I'm going to curve out in the opposite direction so you can see that they're bowing out this way. Now from here, I'm just going to draw a circle, starting from this wrist point. I'm going to draw a big circle right there for the wrist watch. From this point, I'm going to angle down. This one I'm going to angle down. And I'm going to curve and round out the back of the watch. Let's make this line a little bit longer on the wrist. Just close that gap off there. Okay, so now we're going to draw in the hand, starting with the thumb. So from this point of the watch, let's go round that out. Draw that little bracket. Go back a little bit and draw in the first finger wrapped around that bracket. We're going to repeat that 3 times. 2, 3, and pull that right in underneath the watch. If you want to draw a little bit of detail on the watch, you just go ahead and just draw a half square there. Okay, so we got the arms. Let's get into the rest of the body. So the legs are quite short. I'm going to bring the pants down towards the knees and then the boots fill in the rest. Okay, so from this point in the shirts, these little points here, I'm going to curve outwards. So curving out. So they bow out like this. Now this is where the wrinkles will start in the pant. This is where the knee is. I'm going to go up to the lower torso and just draw a straight line going across. because I want to draw in, just like I did with the arms, the inner part of the leg first. So stepping in a little bit, I'm going to do a curve in the opposite direction of each side. Let's go to the left side and draw in the wrinkles for the pants. So the feet, roughly, I'm going to draw about that long. So I want to bring the pants up quite high. So from this point, I'm going to curve out and pull that in. I'm going to do an overlap and just roll a curve around like this. Okay, so this is the pulling of the pants. So from here, I'm going to draw another curve and then just tuck that in to that line there. Let's do that again on the right side. So from here, I'm going to start with that big curve, do an overlap, and then pull that all the way around. Now from here, I'm going to do an overlap for one wrinkle, and then just do a little bulge bump right there. Let's draw in some details for the pants. On the side, we're going to pull a line out. This is for the side pockets. Come down at an angle, and go straight across. At the top half here, I'm just going to draw a line like this for the flap. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So coming down, and then tucking that to the side of the leg, and we'll draw that little flap. Up in the middle here, we're just going to draw two lines for the fly, and then two curves, short little curves coming from the sides of his hips for the pockets. Okay, so we got the legs. Let's get into the final part, the boots. So the boots are quite high, they're high tops. So from here, I'm just going to start with the back of the boot first. So I'm going to curve down to the back of the heel. I'm going to draw the width of the foot. So from here, I'm just going to draw a curve to the front of the shoe. From this point, I'm going to curve around for the toe, but I'm going to stop right there because I want to overlap the sole. So curving a line for the sole. Actually close that off there. Now for the boot top, I'm going to draw a little bit of a wrinkle. So from here, I'm not going to go to the very top. Come down a little bit. Draw an angled line coming up. From here, I'm just going to curve down. From that same point, I'm going to draw a little bulge like this. And then from here, I'm going to go straight up into the ankle. Let's draw the little stripes. Up here, I'm going to draw an angled line coming down. And then going right into that toe. We're going to make that twice as wide. And then I'm going to draw the little zipper line going down like this. Let's go to the other side and draw the exact same thing. So starting with the heel, up here, curving down, we're going to draw the length of the shoe. From here, I'm going to draw the toe, coming down, and then again, leaving a little gap so I can fit in the sole, going across. Now we're going to draw that little wrinkle. So down here, going across, little curve. I'm going to draw that little bulge, and then a straight line underneath the pants. And then we'll finish this off with the lines. Little stripes coming down, make that twice as wide, and then the little zipper line, just like that. And before I forget, there's a little patch on the side of his arm here. So I'm going to draw a little line coming out, down, and across. And there's two little boxes inside that little box there. And that is pretty much it. There we have it. There's Nate from Yokai Watch. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please give us a like and share this with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.